Welcome back, everyone. Where are we? Wednesday, the 26th of August, 2026. And I'm delighted this evening to have an all-star panel for your delight and entertainment. First off, we have the one and only Richie from Richie and Rogue Unfiltered. Richie, good evening, my friend. How are you?
Good evening, Paul. I'm absolutely fantastic, mate. How are you doing, man?
Not so bad, mate. Not so bad. I'm not happy because I'm not going to be the most handsome man on the panel tonight. But there you go. There you go. Next up is the one and only Richard Inman. Richard, what can I say? What an introduction. Top man. How you doing, brother? You're on mute, mate. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There you go. Hold on. There you go. That's better. We can hear you now.
Oh, I'm sick of censorship. It's just
you two are going to fall out.
I'm even getting censored on your channel now, Paul. You know.
And to finish off tonight's all-star panel, we have the one and only John Hannon. How you doing, John? You okay, mate?
I'm very, very well, Paul, particularly after Monday night's football result.
Oh, John.
You had to go there, mate, didn't you? You had to go there.
My heart, John, I've been looking for weeks. I've been looking forward to the first fixture of the season, the big one, Fulham versus Chelsea at home, our local rivals, my biggest game of the year. What happens within 30 seconds? We're 1-0 down. Honestly, mate, the cat has not been seen since, I got to tell you.
It is what it is, mate. I'm sure you'll have a great season.
It is what it is, mate. Right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We kick off with 800 people already watching. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I've got a little bee in my bonnet at the moment, and I'll tell you what that is. British women, children, and indeed our elderly, I believe, have been absolutely forced against their will to accept into their communities men from different and often very dangerous cultures, which genuinely puts their lives and their personal safety at risk on a daily basis. We've seen video after video recently of women in particular telling us how unsafe they feel on our streets. I did a video this morning. I bumped into 4 girls from Halifax in Benidorm yesterday, and they were telling me how scared they feel. And it's just become normality in their lives now. And I tell you what, guys, I'll start off with Richie on this one. I believe, Richie, that this is a complete and utter betrayal of our nation and our country, and indeed our most vulnerable people. And the next government, whoever that may be, has an absolute duty to round up those responsible for this uninvited invasion and put them all on goddamn trial for treason. Would you go along with that, Richard?
Absolutely. Look, if the next government, when they come into power, I'm hoping it's a right-wing government, we might get that a bit later, but ultimately they have to declare a national emergency. We're at the stage now where it's gone past, it's not about stopping the boats now. We've got to get people out of the country. Yes, we've got to stop the boats. That's 2020. That's gone. It's a new debate, new narrative, what we're talking about here tonight. And it's quite simple. Right? You see these demographics of people coming to our country from a civilization that is completely alien to our way of life, where certain things are acceptable, where the government has to give out leaflets to tell them not to rape people. I mean, what planet am I actually... I wake up some mornings and I think, what the hell is going on this planet? I just don't get it. And what angers me the most, Paul, like you, I get a bee in my bonnet about it, is when you speak out, as many of you do on your platforms as well, you get called a racist. But that doesn't, I don't give a toss about that anymore. That doesn't bother me. It's water for the duck's back. Call me what you want. Because I want to leave this world in a better place when I came into it, right, for my children. So ultimately, I'm like, whoever gets in power, whether it's Reform or any other right-wing government, I don't care. But they've got to deal with it and declare a national emergency immediately. Leave the ECHR. All of the things that bind us, that stop us from doing it. I don't care if Pakistan doesn't take people back because they're gay. No, if you commit a crime in this country, you broke in here in the first place, you're here illegally, deport them. Simple as that.
Yeah. Richard, would you agree with that? Are we in a state of national emergency?
I'm going to go way further, Paul. I'm probably going to get your channel banned tonight. No, I'm not going to go that far. I think we've got to take action ourselves. I don't think the government's going to take action. I think the government has completely failed. I think the Conservative government failed. This Labour government is worse than pathetic. Reform and Restore, I am absolutely disgusted with them. They're fighting like cats in a bag. There's strategic problems in both parties. I'm just not interested in party politics anymore. I think we have to do it at neighbourhood level. And I think what we need to do is go to the HMOs, go to the migrant hotels, not just one night for an hour. We need to go there and we need to camp there en masse, thousands of people up and down the country, peacefully, I might add. I'm not talking about doing anything violent. We go there peacefully and we occupy land outside those migrant hotels. We play music on speakers right the way through the night. We keep the scum awake. And we do that until the state reacts, because to be honest with you, I'm done with it. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of looking at it.
Yeah.
We need to take action. And if you do it peacefully, I don't care whether it's legal or not even anymore. As long as it's peaceful, you're not harming people physically.
Yeah.
But we need to take aggressive action, and we need to get these people so that the government has to react. We've got football teams up and down this country, right, that go and spend thousands and thousands of pounds. You talk about football tonight. Every Saturday, I don't know, what's it cost? I've been to a Premier League match for about 15 years. What's it cost now to go see a Premier League team?
Like 60 and 90 quid.
Yeah, 60 to 100 quid, yeah.
Yeah, and then your beers on top of that, your travel and all the rest of it. Okay, lads, well, I tell you what, why don't you just forget about football for the next 6 months and say, we're going to spend all that time that we spend, idolising foreign footballers. We're going to spend all that time being patriotic, and we're going to get outside these HMOs, these migrant hotels, these places that are accommodating these people, and we're going to stand there so that the police have to police it. And we're not going to let anyone in or out. We're going to blockade them, right? Because Stop the Boats is done. It doesn't matter what happens in the channel, right? It's like that's the channel's a pinprick. There's millions of people in this country that shouldn't be here, and they need to go. And if the men of England and the men of Northern Ireland will do it, you don't have to worry about that. But if the men of England stand up, and especially the football lads, and I'm calling on them, I've done it for years. So don't say, "Oh, Richard, what are you doing?" I've done it, and I'll continue to do it. I'll do peaceful protest wherever I can if I think it's going to make a difference, right? And I'm telling you now, if we had our men outside every single migrant hotel, HMO that they can find, standing there peacefully, it would make a massive difference. And listen, I know people are worried about getting arrested. Wear masks, wear face coverings, wear something to hide your identity, but do it peacefully, and it would make a massive difference. That's where I'm at, Paul. I'm done.
John, earlier on in my video that I put out this morning, I said for the first time, this was a new bit of territory for me. I said for the first time that actually I'm starting to believe that we are completely and utterly on our own. Just like Richard, I am fed up with reform. I'm fed up with restore. Politics, at the end of the day, politics is getting us nowhere. I mean, look, I've got a banner running across there. I haven't given up hope yet. Register to vote to prepare to win the voting battle for Britain. But when I watch the videos coming in from down in Dover, when I see, I'm obviously out here in Spain. News broke yesterday that the Spanish police, and I think it was in Italy, somewhere else, they're now being given permission to use live ammunition against these people trying to break into their countries. We won't even fire a can of beans at these people. We will just keep taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it. And I said this morning, John, that maybe I've been barking up the wrong tree, that politics isn't going to get us back our country. Where do you stand on this?
Listen, I totally agree with Richie and with Richard. I think we're at a situation now where we've been banging our head against a brick wall politically for a long, long time. And for whatever reason, whether they're afraid of being labelled, whether they're afraid of alienating too many of the voters, most of the political parties just don't seem willing or able to take the measures that are needed. But I actually think it's bigger than this. I think it's genuinely a civilizational issue. I see this, if it continues, as the literal fall of Western civilization by the end of this century, because it's not just us. It is in Spain and France and Germany and Italy and Sweden and Greece and everywhere else. And we've got to turn this around, because the demographics are changing so fast and so quickly. And it's not people, as soon as you say things like that, they jump on you and they give you a kicking and they say it's racist. It's not. It's about culture. And our culture has evolved. If you want to go right back to ancient Greeks like Socrates and Aristotle and Plato, then through the Romans, then through the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings and the Normans. But essentially, for the last 1,000, 1,500 years, Britain has been pretty much unbroken, and our culture has evolved around Shakespeare and Marlowe and Dickens and people like that. That's going to be gone by the end of this century. Our music, our art, our literature, our food, our language, everything will be totally unrecognizable, totally washed away, totally gone, unless we do something about it. So it's not just about the 200,000 odd illegals that are here. It's about the massive amount of legal people that have arrived. It's about the people that are still coming in. It's about the amount of Britons that are leaving because we're so fearful of where our country's going. You've got 100, 200,000 good, solid British people fucking off. Sorry, excuse my language. Leaving every single year. And I've had this conversation. I've got a 21-year-old son and an 18-year-old son. And the conversations I've had with them over the last few weeks has been, if we don't win these next couple of elections, you've got to give serious thought to leaving, guys. But then the issue is, well, where do you go? Because the whole rest of Europe is just as screwed as well.
Well, yes, it's actually. Sorry, Richard. Sorry, so it's actually an invasion of Europe, not just the UK itself. Right? We've seen the scenes 100%. From Morocco, right, in Spain as well, right? Like rats. I don't call them migrants. I call them migrats. I don't care. No apology. I call them migrats. A new name for them. But your idea, Richard, right? I give you a perfect example where people power actually did work. Here in my hometown of Llanelli, Stradey Park Hotel, it was like a litmus test.
Yeah, sorry.
They housed asylum seekers there. They camped outside. The residents now, these are ordinary people that lived in the area, were concerned for their family. They camped outside the entrance of the hotel, didn't let anybody in and out, for 100 days. Put tents out there, and they were there every single day. Of course, a couple of politicians went down there to have a photo shoot and say they're supporting it, standard, as you'd imagine. But the government reversed the contract with that hotel because of the disturbance being caused legally and peacefully by hundreds of people that said, we're not having this in our town. You don't mess with Llanelli people down here. They're mad, right? We're mental down here. We'll barricade you in. Literally. They went. They moved them. That hotel now, the guy who owned that hotel was actually Muslim himself, is now closed. He lost all his staff. He lost a lot. So that's karma for him.
Good.
But Richard, going to your point, if you've got enough people doing it, going 70,000, 80,000 football matches, if we had that many men on the streets, not just once a year at a big rally, which is great, by the way, we need to, show the case of this kind of stuff. We need to get them where these HMOs are, because they're moving them out in hotels and bragging about this, and we're doing a great job. They're removing them and putting them in different places.
It's Operation Scatter. I mean,
they're sleeper cells, mate. They're sleeper cells in this country. I know this. They can be triggered like that.
Totally. And if I can come in, because I just want to say something, what John said, absolutely right. But don't forget about Christianity as well. Christianity built, Shakespeare wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Christianity. Yep. So Christianity built this nation. And we've got to realize that we cannot have Islam and Christianity. See these coexist badges. Well, it doesn't work in Nigeria. It didn't work in Lebanon. Didn't work in Spain.
No.
The only thing that does it is physical force, right? So we need to put men on the ground in these HMOs, what's left of the migrant hotels, the army camps that they're now using, and we've got to put maximum pressure on, and it's got to be peaceful, because once you cross that line to violence, then they'll come in and crack heads.
Well, then you're playing into their hands. Yeah, exactly. Then the whole thing becomes a disaster.
But it has to be noisy. It has to be robust. And I believe a lot of men have to cover their faces because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their liberty. So, I'll give you an example. When the disturbances happened in Belfast, obviously, I'm not condoning the disturbances. When the protests happened in Belfast, everybody wore black and wore masks. And we're talking one night, there was 10, 20,000 people on the streets. My town, tiny little town, 1,000 people on the streets, most of them masked up. No violence, no disorder. But it's that message that is sent to the authorities.
The problem is, Richard,
pushes around.
Richard, the problem is how can you put a gathering of men like that together and keep them in order? That's the difficult part, isn't it? That's the difficult part.
Look, okay, fair enough. But if you're going and saying you want people to be peaceful, if they're not peaceful, that's not on you. If you're saying, look, we've got to do this peacefully. If they don't do that, that's not our issue. People have personal responsibility and personal agency. If I say to people, do it peacefully, go and stand outside a migrant hotel. I can't make a man that's frustrated about something not throw a brick through a window. I think it'd be a really bad idea. It'd be illegal, and I wouldn't suggest anybody does it. But I can't physically stop people from doing it. But I'll tell you this, Paul, when we did our demos outside the migrant hotel, same as what Richie was talking about, we did it for 3 years. And it closed because of our demo. So it does work, but you've got to do it relentlessly. And we did it once a week. what those guys did in Stradey Park was far more effective, and it closed it a lot quicker. If people say, do you know what? Every night when I finish work, I'm getting down to the local HMO. I'm going to go there with a sound system. I'm going to play Christian music. I'm going to, whatever you want to do, whatever tickles your fancy, play rave music if you want, whatever.
John?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with that. But I think I think we can be a lot more strategic. When you look at all these camps, when you look at all these HMOs, when you look at the hotels, they're all owned by somebody. They're all owned by businesses. They're all serviced by people. When you look at the guys that are getting ferried from RAF Wethersfield into Braintree every week, there's 6, 7, 8 minibuses dropping people off. Those minibuses have got drivers. Those minibuses are owned by companies. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to identify who owns all those companies. Who owns those businesses? Who owns the food companies? Who owns the companies that are coming in and doing the laundry every week? And what you do is you start to organise boycotts against them. Because if you start hitting people in the pocket, that's when they really feel it. That's when it hurts. And that is a way to do it, is to get strategic and to finish them off.
I agree, John. These are all ideas that because we put so much faith in these dopey politicians. I'm done with Rupert Law, I'm done with Nigel Farage. I don't want to hear about them anymore. I'm not going to discuss them anymore, because I think the only thing that's going to happen now is the British people are going to do this by taking not the law into their own hands, but taking matters into their own hands peacefully and, without becoming savages. We go out there and we get outside these places where these men have been placed, and we make them look. I'm going to be honest with you. I want the illegal migrants to know that they are not welcome in my country. If you're an illegal migrant and you're watching this, I want you to know very, very clearly. I don't care what your problems are in Somalia, Mogadishu, Sudan, or Afghanistan and Kabul. I don't care what's going on there. You're not welcome in my country. You've done nothing to get here. You've broken in. You're illegal. You're a thief. You're stealing money off my country. You're stealing healthcare off my elderly parents and parents-in-law. I want you gone.
Richie,
do you know? I was thinking there when you were talking about having.
I'm wound up tonight about this.
He's losing the plot there. I don't blame
you
him.
never guess. I'm
like that every day, mate. My head, when I look at social media, I see what's going on. I'm like, I can't cope with this anymore. I was ready to walk. Well, partly ready to walk away from all this, right? Because I like Richard, I've had an absolute
exactly the same.
Right?
Our combined blood pressure must be off the roof.
Right, on another level. But one of the things you can do is, if you had the ability, and someone who's got the knowledge, they've got the technical ability, if you could have a directory that's published in one place,
100%.
that tells you where every hotel is, every HMO, every military base, and everybody can go to that one place. And that directory, you find your community. That's one way of organising it without having to have troops on the ground, keeping an eye on everybody. You can't police everybody, Rich, as you know.
You can't.
But having a published directory where these places are is a great start. Might be a great
Also,
idea.
all the businesses that service them as well.
And
all the people
absolutely.
that are doing business with them. Because what's the guy's name? Is it Richard King? They call him the migrant billionaire or something like that, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's allegedly made £1 billion out of this. Mm-hmm. We need to identify every single business interest he's got.
I know what I do with
go
Richard
bust.
King.
Boycott them. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But the way to hit these people,
hit them in the
hate
pocket
it when they lose money. They fucking hate it. And that's the way to do them. Put them out of business. Make them go bankrupt. Shut them down.
What we did, we picketed the house of the guy that owned the migrant hotel in our town. We used to go outside his house and picket his house, And
this is what happens when the population start to come to terms with the fact that they can no longer comply their way out of this shit.
Yeah.
This is where we've got to, isn't it now?
Yeah.
Pauline, thank you very much. Pauline has become a member of the channel. Thank you. Trey, Paul, I'm in East Grinstead. The stat bar already creeping in, Val. Now, East Grinstead, I lived there for 10 years. A very, very quintessential town on the Surrey-Sussex border. And look at what's happening to East Grinstead. Michael, have any of you gents heard of the United Nations Compact on Migration? It explains so much on what's going on in the world, yet you never seem to give it a mention, or it never seems to get a mention.
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is it doesn't matter what the Migration Compact says. It matters what we do about it, And I'm done talking about why it's happened. I just want to get solutions now, Paul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was, I don't know if you heard about the woman in Leeds. I'm trying to find the story here. I can't find it. There was a woman in Leeds, and she's coming out of the pub, 32-year-old woman, some scumbag that had broken into the country took a broken bottle, stabbed her in the throat, the chest. Now she survived and she's made a good recovery, right? But she's obviously massively traumatized by it. That guy was Sudanese. He got thrown out of France. He was a failed asylum seeker in France. Got on a boat, came across here, sexually assaulted a woman in the migrant centre he was staying in. Left there, got on a train, went up to Leeds and tried to murder this woman in Leeds.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Now, I'm sorry, he's got 25 years in a mental hospital. He is taking money out of the NHS. Think about this, guys. He's taking money. He's been cared for. All his healthcare will be paid for. You know, no doubt he'll be getting counselling and people will be giving hugs and trying to make him a better human being. I'd hang the bastard. Simple as that.
I was going to say, you know, rope is cheap and gravity is
Yeah.
free, as far as I'm
And
concerned.
I'm just done with pussyfooting around, Paul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it entirely. I get it absolutely. I get it entirely. You know, I go back to what I said when I opened the show tonight, guys. Right, is that for me, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of officials that the next government literally need to hunt down from a legal perspective. I'm not talking about anything, you know, I'm just talking about legalities here. Like, there's a lot of people out there that need to be arrested, investigated, and potentially charged with treason and put on trial. When I genuinely mean that, we
I
need a
agree.
version. We need
Thousands.
our own version.
Thousands.
Thousands
Yeah.
of them. We need our own version of the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people in the media, in social services, in the police, in the judiciary. They can all stand in front of a jury of their peers.
The problem is, though, Paul, they police themselves, don't they? When something kicks off, it's an internal investigation. So there's no neutrality at all. So they've checked and marked their own homework. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and
There
I
won't
think
be any accountability.
No, there isn't, and they can get away with it. It's ridiculous. Not only that, and one of the things that Richard was on about there, Paul, you mentioned it. That some people it should be done for treason. Tony Blair's been one of them. He should have been locked up a long time ago.
Long time ago.
And along with his mate as well. But one of the things I was thinking about there is, as well as doing a directory and getting out on the streets and everything else, it's just gone. My head, it was just in my head, and it was so good, it's gone. I was going to say what it was.
I know that feeling. I'll
Do you
tell
know
you
what? That's your age
That's it.
now,
That's
Richie.
it. It's come back. It's come back to me. Why don't we do, right? And I know it's not popular with some Americans, especially the Democrats and things like that. Why don't we get like ICE agents out on the streets, legal? The next government, get out, even if you don't believe the governments are going to fix it, Rich, right? Why can't we get people, police in the streets? And you said not to take the law in your own hands. I'm sorry. It's going to get to a point, mate, where people are going to have to take their law in their own hands. I'm not talking about committing violence or doing anything bad, but literally restraining people, lifting them up, moving them, like these Extinction Bloody Rebellion, Lord. Remember, they're all gluing themselves to fucking walls and pavements and all that nut jobs. Literally, you've got to manhandle these people and move them. I think we're going to get to that stage because there is not one single solution or one single political party that's going to fix this problem. This problem has been happening for decades and decades and decades, and it's been this slow creep since the 90s under Tony Blair. We've allowed it to happen. All previous governments, they all speak shit. The Conservatives are just as bad.
I'm facilitating it.
It's like poison. It's literally, they're injecting poison into our country, like, and all we do is watch videos on it and go, that's bad, that, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Do you know what? I'm fed up of seeing videos of people come over on boats. I don't need to see any more videos. I know they're here. What are we going to do about it? That's the most important thing. And we've got to get radical, man, and get out on the street.
I think so, Rich. That's where I'm at, brother. That's where I'm at.
Richie, do you know what? Sorry, Rich, going across you there, Richard. Richie, what you said a moment ago resonated with me. When you said a little while back, you was on the verge of giving this all up. And Richard knows, I felt exactly the same because I'm sick and tired of talking about it. We know the goddamn problems. We can see them every day of the bloody week. We see, like me, I don't want to see any more goddamn videos. I've seen enough.
I mean, there's the comment here. I'm going to read this because this I don't know this lad, but he seems like a decent fella. He's not trolling, as he says. Richard, one borough lad to another. It's going to go kinetic. Go to a pub in Borough, any effing pub, and you could feel that something's going to happen. Tell me I'm wrong, ex-Lord Raglan. So I know the pub he's talking about. And Steve, I don't disagree with that, mate. All I'm going to say, I don't disagree with that. Obviously, we've got to be careful what we say on the channel so we don't get Paul vaporizing us all the rest of it. But the bottom line is, sooner or later, something's going to happen. I'm going to tell you something now, right? One more violent, heinous incident in Northern Ireland, and the place is going to explode. I'm guarantee you that. I'm not I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it should happen. It just will happen. It's just going to happen, right? And same as in England, I think we're one violent incident away
Richard,
from
let's
habit.
get one thing absolutely goddamn freaking clear here, especially for me and for you, because we have been together now doing this on a regular basis. Richard and I know that the other two guys have done the same, but me and you in particular, because we've been doing this for such a long time, we have spent the last 2.5 freaking years.
10 years, Paul. I've been doing it for 10 years, mate.
For you, 10 years, yeah. But on this channel, we've been spending the last 2.5 years trying to calm people down, trying to keep everyone sensible, trying to keep it on a level playing field. You know, politics is the way. You know, so nobody on this planet can accuse us of trying to stir things up. The only people that have stirred things up here are the fucking government that have brought these people in and forced these people and these situations upon our women, our children, and our elderly. I don't really care too much about us fellas. We're big enough and lucky enough to look after ourselves. But what about the kids? What about the elderly? What about the girls? What about them? Where's their fucking human rights?
Yeah, the problem is it's not just the government. We can't blame just the politicians. It's been a cunning plan, this that's been going on for 50 years, and they've infiltrated every single fucking aspect of society. It's the entire judiciary, it's the prison service, it's the upper echelons of all of the police forces, it's the entire media, it's every aspect
and the military
of society. And even the military, and that's the problem. It's not good enough to just win politically now. Let's say Reform won the next election by a big majority, right? And let's say that they were good to their word and they carried out the things they said they were going to do. I don't trust that they will, but let's say they did. The problem is all of the unions are going to go on strike. The entire NHS is going to down tools. The judiciary is going to throw out every single thing they try and put through the courts. It will be a nightmare for them, and it will be such a nightmare that they won't last as a government. They'll get buried out in 2, 3,
You're
4
right, John.
years.
And what people need to realize as well, behind all that machinery is the civil service, right?
Yeah,
and they hold
100%.
a lot of the power. Politicians don't. They think they got power.
They come and go.
Civil servants run the country. Simple as that, right? So even if you when Reform talk about cutting back the civil service, which I agree with because it's over bloated, if you cut it back too much, you're not going to get things done, mate. So there's a lot of checks and balances that need to happen. But I've just got to the point, Paul, you mentioned it there earlier. I was speaking to Rogue about this as well. She's just, by the way, if I can mention her show on tonight's show, Paul.
Absolutely,
Rogue, we're talking about this, and I said, well, look, I think I'm done with this podcasting business. I'm coming off all X, all this kind of stuff. I'm just done. My brain can't take any more. I'm just fed up of seeing it, fed up of hearing it. And it's not good for my mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
And when I take a step back, I've considered leaving the country. I know I get my private pension in a few years. I've just got a good private pension, you know, because I've worked since I was 18. So I'm thinking I paid 40% tax most of that time. Do you know what? Screw this. I'm going to leave the country. But then I get called a coward because people are like, well, you should stay and fight. I've been in political parties. I've stood as a candidate. I've stood in 2 elections. I've been to protests. Nothing changes. And you get to the point you're like, you know what? I'm done, man. I don't know what else to say. And I don't want to be negative here, guys, because, you know, we can talk with this on this platform, right, across all the different social media platforms. As you two, I've been doing Richard for 10 years, in the show you're 2 years, and John as well, no doubt. What are we actually achieving apart from creating awareness of what people already know? Because we can see the anger in the comments. Just look at the comments. People are just pissed off and they want solutions. Is there any political party offering real solutions, or are they just slogans to get people to vote for them, to think that they're going to save the country? Because I'll tell you what, though, it's going to take more than 5 years to turn things around as well. Because change can't happen overnight. People expect, you know, if Reform get in, or any other right-wing government, they're not going to do it overnight. You can't. The political machinery doesn't allow you to do that. You've got to go through all the hoops and all the regulations and all that shit.
Right.
It's going to take time, man.
You know, I agree with Richie. I mean, what I will not leave the country, and I you know, I could sell, you know, what I've got and go, but I won't do it because, you know, I was willing to bleed and die for the country. My mates did die for the country. They shed the blood in this country that I'm sitting in now in Northern Ireland. So I'm going nowhere. And anyone wants to go, I don't blame them. I'm not just me personally. I'm going nowhere, and I will fight. As long as I'm physically able, if it comes to a civil war, I will take up arms to save this country. I don't have. That's not even in question. I just don't think we're at that situation now where that's going to where we're there, and I don't think there's the organisational ability. Someone asked about Danny Tomo in the comments and what Danny's doing, right? And I am going to address this, and I want to address this that we haven't mentioned it. There's a reason why I haven't mentioned what Danny's doing, right? And it's what concerns me about it. And I think if he can do the first thing is I don't know what he's doing. So I'm not going to get involved in something where I don't know what the plan is, right? I'm not that stupid, right? But what does worry me is all these gatherings with loads of faces out there, and it's all been photographed, it's all been videoed. Everybody knows who all the faces are. If the state wants to have a crackdown, they can come at those people straight away. Facial recognition, all of those guys are banked of rights already that's been to those gatherings. And I'm not dishing it, because if he does something brilliant, right, fair play. I will take my hat off and say, do you know what? I should have got more involved. You know, you've done a great job there, Danny. And if he does, I'll be the first one to flip and pick up the phone and say, mate, you know, you've smashed it. My concern is people meeting together in fields. If I'm meeting anyone now to talk about this stuff, not that we're doing anything illegal. I don't want any phones there. I don't want anything like that there, because if you want to talk about doing something that is subversive but not illegal, the last thing you want is to telegraph it to the state. You know, listen, they watch us all like a hawk anyway. Yeah, so I'm just very cautious about all that. And I am not suggesting that we do anything violent. What I think will happen, though, I think there will be an incident that will happen in this country. And it doesn't have to be a mass. It doesn't have to be like a Hamas style October the 7th. There'll be something like what happened in Southport, something even, a stabbing and some children get hurt or killed. And that'll just tip it over the edge. And, so I think we've got to be preparing ourselves to go to prison. I don't want to go to prison. I'm an old man. I don't want to go to prison. But we've got to prepare ourselves psychologically, because the state could come after us. If they see us in any way as leaders or can try and pin something on us, that, believe you me, four people I know have been charged today because of the Mogadishu bonfire, right? Which was literally just an artistic piece of work portraying an ISIS training camp, right? And all it said on it was close the borders, stop radical Islam. They're charged with inciting hatred.
Crazy.
Right? Now, and I'm looking at that, I'm going, these are good guys. These are not flipping airhead mongrels. These are really good guys, right? And that's what's happening throughout the country. So we've got to be prepared for that. We've got to be prepared that we may be physically attacked, because the left are dangerous and the Islamists are dangerous. So once you put your head above the parapet, so I'm training 2 or 3 times a week physically. I'm not losing much weight. I'm training. I've got my grandson training, doing boxing. Because we've got to be in the army. There was a saying that used to be for doing, for keeping yourself in shape, and it was fit to fight. Every single man in this country needs to be fit to fight, and I don't want there to be any. I would love to just be able to, do all the stuff I love doing, my swimming, all the stuff I do, reading the Bible, Christian stuff. But unfortunately, there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. And I sadly feel that the time for peace is evaporating.
Richard, can I just jump in there quickly, Paul, if I may? Sorry, John. Just first of all, thank you for your service, mate. Really appreciate it, and those you've served with as well.
But years ago, mate. I nearly forgot about it.
Do you know, there are a lot of veterans now who are, like what Danny's doing. There's lots of these groups all coming together now, all doing different things with different badges on, different cliques, which is, I think it's great. If it works, brilliant, right?
Yeah, same as.
But my issue is this: it's not joined up enough. You've got to be strategic. You've got to work together. If you can pull a mass of people like Tommy Robinson pulls it as United rallies, right, for example. If you can organise something like that, surely you can have these pockets around the country where HMOs are, hotels are, where you can put different people, allocate them, and they can do that. The other thing I was going to mention as well, there's another group set up called Frontline Alliance. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've seen it.
I
know a couple of members.
Yeah, they're just brand new, so I just want to give him a shout out, because I think anything.
Do you know what, mate? He doesn't get the Islam thing, and he stole the pledge. I don't want nothing to do with that guy. Sorry, Alex. I've spoke to him. I'm just straight, mate. Straight.
Mate, all I'm saying is I know it's out there. I've seen it. I'm just letting you know.
Just before we go any further, I just want to go back to John for a moment. John, when you said about the problems going, I mean, look at this from the BBC. Today.
I've seen this.
This is I've got some icons covering over the text. Let me see if there we go. Breaking news: 2 men arrested in Cornwall for attacking people in the streets with machetes are migrants. Sinjar Zarel and Sain Zarel, I take it their brothers, were described as from Cornwall by the mainstream media.
I've seen the videos. I've seen the videos of this.
Do you know the Sorrells of Cornwall are famous for being scrappers. They're just a famous family in Cornwall for being fighting. Goes back right the way back to the tin mines. You know, they're working in the tin. The Sorrells were working in the tin mines 200 years ago. Do you know the Sorrells?
I'll tell you what, to show you how complicit the media are in this, right? I watched another video and a post that was put on X earlier. So there's a website called Cornwall Live, which is like a rolling news site down in Cornwall. That happened in Truro, the incident, and it's right outside. If you see the video, it's right outside a kebab shop. They come out of the kebab shop with the machetes or carving knives or whatever it is. So they clearly work in that kebab shop, and it's clearly Turk on Turk or Kurd on Kurd or whatever it might be. But Cornwall Live turned off the comments on the video, and then they put out a post really bollocking people for all of the racist comments they were getting. So they were more concerned with people putting racist comments than they were of groups of men trying to turn each other into shish kebab outside a fucking kebab shop. It's
Unbelievable.
mental.
It's like the Henry Novak thing again. The police are more concerned about allegations of racism and the fact that he just got stabbed. Like, I mean, it's just it's disproportionate in so many different levels. I mean, these guys cut up kebabs with machetes in their shops anyway. I mean, stop buying kebabs. Like, let's start a campaign. No more kebabs. Like, simple as that.
Guys, let me get through one or two of the supers because these are across our 4 channels, and we've got 2,200 people watching as we speak. Ish, thank you very much, Mum. With poor mobility, petrifying taking my kids out. Wouldn't be able to fight them off. Would get taken harmed in hope it gives time for my kids to run. Yeah, absolutely. Charlie, good evening, Charlie, my friend. The video I saw of the Bexley Council letter, I think it's real. The council are saying it's fake because otherwise it'll kick off. Disgraceful.
It's fake.
Richard, you're saying that's fake.
Definitely fake. Yeah, definitely fake.
Thank you very much, June. Really appreciate that. Charlie, again. Richard, how can we do a protest like that when the police can just order a section 16 where they can removal of masks, otherwise you're nicked? Yeah, it's a good point.
The bottom line is you just stand there. You just stand your ground. Because if you do it in enough numbers, the police aren't going to have the numbers to be able to stop you. Simple as that. You know, it's just as simple as that. You've just got to stand your ground.
I mean, the only problem you could have, sorry, Paul, you go to the comments. Just
no, you're right, mate.
You're always going to get idiots turn up to these places, get pissed up, and they make fools of themselves.
That's
right?
they
don't help our cause, right? You know, they take their tops off and all that. You know, they think it's all British Bulldog. Look, we need that British Bulldog spirit. Don't get me wrong. But you've got to have people with some sense as well. They're not going there to cause problems because that plays into the hands of those on the left wing who are way nastier than those on the right.
Yeah, we need that British spirit, but not of the Tenants Extra variety.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Look, the reality is, I'm going to tell you something now. You're better doing something than nothing, right? That's all I'm saying. You're better getting out there and getting involved in protests and doing nothing. And if you go outside those HMOs every single day, for 100 days, like Richie did up in Wales there. You do that every single day, right the way across the country. The police will not be able to contain it or patrol it or enforce anything. The government will have to act, you know, and they'll probably arrest a lot of the people who are deemed as leaders. And this is the other thing where I slightly disagree with you, Richie. You have what's called leaderless resistance. So nobody leads this. You get the idea out there into the ether and just let people run with it, you know. So nobody actually has control of it. Yeah.
Jackie,
fair point,
Jackie, thank you, Jackie. You guys will be shut down soon. We are becking losing this. Just imagine our country handed over to foreigners. Well, half it already has. I think that one was might have been for you, that one, Richard. Nathan Bliss doing a great job, Richie and Rogue.
Cheers,
that's for you. Save the United Kingdom. Evening, my friends. Have you seen the documentary from Talk TV yesterday where our British man went to France and got a migrant boat back
Christian
to
Drogan.
UK? Yeah,
I know
Christian.
I know Christian. He's a top fella. He's a mate of mine. What he did was incredible, to be honest.
Didn't he do the documentary with Isabel Oakeshott from Reform?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so sure about Isabel.
She commissioned it, didn't she? Yeah.
But what he did, I mean, I know he told us what was coming up, and he spent about 3 weeks out there, infiltrated into the gangs, pretended he was a British criminal on the run. So he sort of owned up to being British because he knew that he'd get spotted as not being a migrant. blagged his way onto one of the boats and filmed exactly what the French police were doing or not doing, and filmed the whole thing. He's a top fella.
Who saw the clip earlier? I don't know where it was earlier. It just caught my eye of the guy going undercover. I think it was in London, just stopping and asking random
Yeah, I saw that.
members of a
Pretending he was a Muslim. Yeah.
pretending he wanted to, well, let's just say, get involved in some nefarious incidents, and he received a rather welcoming
Yeah.
response.
Go and talk to the imam in the
Talk
local
to the
mosque.
imam.
That's what he got told by about 3 people.
Unbelievable. Peter, thank you. Listening to your discussion, no one has mentioned Danny Tomo and the Patriot platform we have now. Danny is doing exactly what Richard was saying we must do. Our friend Hartford, thank you very much, my friend. Hope you are well. Enough is enough. We must unite and stand our ground without violence. We must show the government we will take no more of their lies. Us fathers and grandfathers have to do a job. Regards, Linford. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate that. We've had a few back and forths today. Sandra, thank you for becoming a member.
Guys,
Animal, thank you. Go on, mate.
Question for you all, right? So I think on September the 5th or 6th, there's a regional election in Anhalt, Saxony in Germany, where the AfD currently are miles ahead in the polls, and they're ahead in the national polls. Polls are coming out of France at the moment saying Marine Le Pen and the RN party are literally miles and miles ahead. It'd be a miracle if they don't win. Do you think if in other European countries we get genuinely right-wing parties, genuinely anti-migration parties elected, do you think that will set the tempo for here? Do you think it'll have any effect on here? Will it change how things are going on in Europe, or do you think it's too far gone there as well?
Well, my theory is we'd be seen as the saviours of all those people, and they'd end up coming. They'd end up coming over to the UK. That'd be my fear.
Yeah, but the other countries like Poland, for example, and Hungary, the previous president there, and some European countries have managed to get a grip on the immigration issue, right? So there are models out there that actually work. But whether or not, people are looking to Britain as being this because we were so powerful, the British Empire, as if we've got all the answers. We simply don't, because we've had the last few decades, we've had shit government. We were really bad, right? So we're left now with a few options. And we talk about on the show all the time, and I know Rich is pissed off with it. Restore and reform. They're bitching at each other, stabbing each other with knives in the back, in public, so everyone can see it. And they're like, and then in the comments, people are, they hate on you. You're like, we don't care the name of the party. I don't care about your rosette. Can you stop the people coming here and get the ones here that out of here,
100%.
of our prisons? There's 14,000 illegal foreign nationals in our prisons. And they're saying our prisons are full, and we're letting people out who've committed crimes less their sentence because the prisons are full. Ship the 14,000 mother out of this country. You've got room for criminals. Simple.
100%.
No, I think
It's become a Monty Python sketch, hasn't it? We've become a Monty Python sketch. Let's have a quick look at the latest polls.
So I just want to answer John's. If I just answer John's question, finish answering John's question. You asked about, can we do it in the UK? As long as reform and restore are fighting like cats in a bag. No, we can't. No, I agree. There has to be a coming together on the right. Now, whether you involve the Conservatives in that is another story, because I don't trust the Conservatives at all. I don't trust reform. And to be honest, I don't trust restore either. I don't trust any of them. And I don't trust what's left of Advance, because we saw what happened there. So I'm very disenchanted with politics. But if these people can get their act together, and I think what we can do, and again, this is where people power come in, we can be writing to Rupert and Nigel en masse, filling their inboxes and filling their mail bags, if anyone gets sacks of mail anymore, and saying, you need to come together to save the country. Restore needs to get rid of the far right headbangers.
Send them a copy of this show.
Yeah, exactly. Restore needs to get rid of the far right headbangers that are associated with them, and Nigel needs to get rid of Zia Youssef, because we can't have a Muslim prime minister in this country. I'm sorry, we just can't have that. We cannot have a Muslim prime minister in this country under any circumstances ever. And I don't care if people say that's sectarian. We can't have one.
Going back to your point, John, the problem I think, and this is a massive issue, is all of this is being played out publicly. These are conversations that should be held privately with respect, 100%. Humility and dignity, realizing we've got a country to save. And I think we don't have that. And that's the problem.
You can't have a list of demands.
Here's all my demands. If you meet these demands, we'll join you. But
Yeah.
you don't negotiate like that.
No,
Exactly.
that's not
Exactly.
negotiation. That's set demands.
Ransom.
Now, Richard,
That was
Richard-
a ransom note. Yeah.
Richard, you mentioned the Conservatives. I want to talk about the Conservative vote. I mean, look at this. This is the latest poll out today. Reform on 23%, down 1%. Labour 22%, staying where they were. Conservatives 20%, up 1%. How the hell they're on 20%, God only knows. So I
I'll
thought
tell you
they'd
why in a
vote
minute.
us. And then we got Restore on 3%. Now, if you put the Reform vote, the Conservative vote, and the Restore vote together, we win a massive majority at the next general election, and we can
That's
pretty much
46% in it.
46%.
Yeah.
46%.
Yeah.
But the way things are going right now, we're in danger of actually losing the next general election.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's
This
my
is
fear.
the insanity
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. I've been saying
It's-
this for a while. This summer tour
Yeah.
that he's on, right? It's not a tour. It's a pre-election tour. This is my take. I might be wrong, but hear
Burnham,
me out.
you're right, Richard.
He's
I was
going around
saying
the
it once.
country, promising people Smarties, giving them out.
Yeah.
You know, we'll cut tax 20% on businesses, on pubs. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Tackle the cost of living, all that around the country. He's such a lovely guy, isn't he? You know, he's not like Keir Starmer. He's not robotic. I want to save the country.
That's
the
what
guy
he
can
is.
actually speak.
Yeah,
but
I
we
can't
know
do
we
it.
know he covered up some of the grape gangs in Manchester. He's been exposed for some of that. Refused to, get invest, all that kind of stuff. So what he's doing, and this is what's pissing me off with politicians on the right, okay? He is garnering support and he is trying to resurrect the red crumbling wall that crumbled when Boris Johnson came into power with a massive majority. And more people who used to vote for Labour might have gone to another party, maybe the Greens or the Lib Dems or whatever. They're going back to Labour. And I know people don't like the word, the Andy's bounce back Burnham.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know, I can see it. I know what he's trying to do. And then next year, when his popularity is through the roof, much higher than Nigel Farage or any other politician or any other political party, Rupert Lowe, he's going to go, right then, let's have an election. Let's have an election. Then give
I
me a
disagree
mandate
to
from
an
the
extent.
people.
I disagree to a slight extent. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's going to be sooner than, because I think this Burnham bounce has got a
September.
maximum 6 months. Because I
agree.
tell you what, he is an empty shell of a man. He's got no policies,
Totally.
no personality, no brain, nothing. I can't believe I'm going to say this. He's worse than Starmer. He's useless.
Oh, that takes a
Useless.
beating, that does.
He's useless. And I think, and the economy is going to tank. Interest rates are going back up. Unemployment's going up. Everything's falling apart. He's got about 6 months to capitalize on a bit of a bounce or he's done.
At best, I reckon. I mean, the housing market's collapsing as well. I must get through some of these super guys because they're across all of our channels. Fletcher, Liam, Paul, don't give up on reform. They're our best option. I'm not giving up. But what I'm saying is that everyone, the nation, look, I'll put it up again. It's there in black and white.
Yeah.
This is what we face. The match, none of us should have to explain this. It's there staring you right in front
Exactly.
of your very eyes.
So actually, Paul, in view of that, right, the problem is not Restore and Reform, because Restore are pretty irrelevant in that, if that polling's correct. The
Well, they're
problem
down
is-
1%.
Yeah, the problem is the
The
Conservatives
Tories.
and Reform.
Yeah.
It's the Tories and Reform, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Do you know the Tories, right? They're on a bit of a resurgence. They really, I don't like to say this, but I really think they are. And I think Kemi Badenoch, when she first came in, there's doubts about her, but she's grown in that position. At that dispatch box, she appears to have a little bit of steel in her. And I think the old blue-nosed conservatives would like that. And a lot of them who left the Conservative Party that went to Reform are probably thinking, hang on a minute, maybe we got a potential here in someone like Kemi. I don't think she'll win the next election personally, but a lot of Reform support, if you look at some of the polls as well, they were leading in over like 350 polls at one point, or more than that. But now they're sliding slowly as more and more policies are coming out, and they're off the top of their heads, whether it's Youssef doing the rounds or Richard Tice doing the rounds, wherever it is. And I respect everybody's opinion, because opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, right? That's all they are. But at the end of the day, we don't need people's opinions. We need people who are going to say what they're going to do and do what they're going to say. And the problem you have with politicians is time after time after time, I'm only 51, right? But I've been involved in politics for 15, 16 years. And I've seen it. I've worked in the Senedd. I worked in the Welsh Government, at the heart of it. I watched the corruption there, the waste there. I know what goes on. And I'm like, everyone's looking for politicians to come and save us. They're not going to save you. You've got to protect your own family, your own countrymen, your brothers, your sisters, as Richard was saying. It's going to be like that, Paul. We're going to get to that stage in this country. Listen, I don't see a political solution. I know I don't sound negative, but I just don't.
I agree with you, Richie. I agree with you 100%.
That's a scary prospect. Trey, now confirmed they're sending agents to your home to see if you're going to be paying more due to your house value. Robbing the bastards. Charlie, I get worried if we come under attack. I'm in a wheelchair and won't be able to defend my family. I don't know. I don't want to see things get bad, but it scares me.
I get it, man. I get it.
Charlie, we understand, brother. We really do. Fletcher Liam, Reform get attacked constantly by the media and political class, which proves they are a credible threat. They aren't over-promising. They are being realistic. I agree. You know, I mean,
sorry, do you know what I think, Paul? Right? They talk about Reform becoming part of the establishment, right? This is my how I perceive things, right? To break up a system of government, you have to get into the heart of it. So you have to become part of the establishment. You can't do it from the outside. It's impossible. You know, Richard probably knows in military terms, you've got to get right to the heart of where the fight's happening. So they will appeal to a wider, broader demographic. So they want the Muslim votes, they want the right-wing votes, the centre-right votes, left-wing votes. Nigel is not stupid. He's been in this game a very long time. Whether people trust him or not, that's up to them. He's like Marmite. But I think, in my opinion, what Reform are doing, they have to appear to be friends with the media, mainstream media, of course, because then they get interviews, they get the platform, all that kind of stuff. But the only question I have is should they win the next election, will they then break up that system altogether? Get rid of devolution, that's one thing. Get rid of Welsh government, you know, Northern Ireland, all these devolved governments, because I don't believe they work. They're a waste of time. I mean, Andy Burnham's on about giving devolution to mayors now. Can you imagine the money and the waste that's going to have? Yeah. So basically, he's devolving all these powers to local levels. I've always been an anti-devolutionist. I stood for the Abolish Welsh Assembly Party, right? I wanted to get rid of it, turn it into Wetherspoons, but it's a long story. But it's literally, this is why I get angry with people when they say Reform are part of the uni party. They're not. I got friends in Restore, I got friends in Reform, I got friends all across political spectrum.
Yeah, me too.
And I really, listen, they're great people. But what I don't get is there is no need for us to be biting each other's heads off when we are looking around, like we mentioned those videos at the start of the show, Paul. We've seen enough, man. I don't want to see any more of this crap. I want to see real solutions. And I'm just hoping that, you know, whatever happens, I don't care who it is, guys. We need a right-wing government. And if that doesn't work, then, Richard, we need to do both, mate. We need to take it into our own hands and get outside these HMOs, get outside these hotels, camp outside there and do not move, work a rota until they leave those properties. I'll let the business, as happened in Stradey Park, will tell you, the businessman lost the whole lot of it. The hotel went and everything.
We've got to make that. We've got to make it. There's a cost for actually doing this. We've got to make a cost for the NGOs as well. But NGOs like Care for Calais, they need picketing. 100%. You know, we need people that are willing to stand there. And if the police come, you don't get violent, you don't get aggressive, but you stand your ground. And you know, the police cannot police every single. If we had 100,000 people doing this, right?
It's all about numbers. You're right.
Yeah, You know, if we had 10% of the people that went to the United Kingdom thing in September 2025, right, doing this up and down the country for 6 weeks, that it would be over. They would have to do something.
If we had 10% of last weekend's Premiership football matches,
this is the whole point, Paul. Yeah. This is the whole point. Look, people either care about the country or they don't. I put my money where my mouth is. I've done all sorts of crazy stuff while I've been doing this. And, you know, it never broken the law, but we've done some really, really hair-raising stuff. But the bottom line is we've got to put our money where our mouths and take a stand. It's like Richie said, I'm sick. It's like I said to you last, Paul, I'm sick of talking about restore reform. I'm done with that.
We all are. Let's be honest, we all are. And that's why I think all of us have been...
I could sit here for an hour and attack and criticise both of them, but I'm not going to do that.
And do you know what? Do you know what, boys? I'll tell you something, right? I'll tell you what, John, I was saying this the other day, right, is that this is how genuine I believe everyone on this panel is, right? We are genuine people. That's the reason why you're on my channel for a start, because I believe in all of you, right? And now this is the deal, right, is that we can knock out video after video after video. We can go farming and get videos that wind people up, and we can earn plenty of dough pissing people off
Yeah,
every
I've
day.
I've never owned plenty
Right.
of dope.
I wish.
But with us,
That's
it's been
how you do
almost the other. It's been almost the other way. We're so frustrated that we've almost it's been in our heads to actually walk away from it all because we don't seem to be getting anywhere. We can't achieve what we need to achieve. But my God, I'm not going to give up. But we've got
100%.
something's got to
100%.
make a difference soon. Something's got to give, hasn't it? Let me just get through one or two of these. Thank you so much, Catherine. Michael, it's okay talking about protests, but in reality, our only hope is that Reform and Restore get their act together. Michael, do you know what? I agree. But as Richard just said a minute ago, Restore are almost becoming, with all due respect, at 3%, not an irrelevance, but it's the Tories we need to go after. It's them. It's the Middle England Tory voters that need to wake up.
I think
Jamie,
go on, mate.
go on, John. No, go on.
No, I was going to say, I think the role that Restore play, and I agree that the infighting between the two is bollocks, but they do have a role to play, which is that they hold Reform's toes to the fire a little bit.
Yeah.
That because they are a little bit more radical in their policies, because Rupert Lowe has coined this phrase, "I don't care," and he doesn't care, I don't think, about the names that get thrown at him and the things that get said to him. I think what that's done is it's forcing Reform to an extent to hold the line. I think if they weren't there, you would see Reform drifting 1% at a time, 2% at a time, more towards the Tories. I don't think they can, because if they did that, they'd hemorrhage support to Restore. So I think Restore has a role to play in that they are keeping Reform honest to an extent. But at the same time, it looks like it's causing division across the entire right. So there's a yin and a yang, there's a pro and a con. But I do think that they're doing a slightly important role, because I think if
I
Rupert
agree with
disappeared
that.
and Restore folded,
totally.
I think Reform would go much wetter very quickly.
Yeah, I agree with that. The proof of the pudding, though, guys, will be at the next general election. You know, who is going to stand aside and say, right, for the bigger picture, for the better of the country, we're going to step aside.
Well, Rupert claims that he offered that, didn't he? And that Reform turned it down. Whether there's any truth in that, who knows? Because who knows what goes on behind closed doors. But his claim was that he offered that.
Well,
Jay-
it wasn't behind closed doors. I mean, he published it. He did a video,
He
man.
did, that's right, yeah.
Jamie, thank you. What about what the F about the guns they were firing off the beaches? I didn't see that. Jamie again, Douglas Murray for Prime
Good
Minister.
call. Good call.
I'd like to see
No, not
Douglas
for me.
get a bit more involved. Peter Beckson, Danny is attempting what nobody else is doing. Yeah. Jamie,
Yeah,
thank you.
the Danny thing, if he achieves what he's trying to achieve, then I will take my hat off to him 100%. I mean, you know, I just don't know what it is. That's the only issue I've got. But, you know, if he achieves what he's going to try and achieve, fair play to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jamie says Reform said they're putting Zia as Prime Minister. I haven't heard
seen
that.
No, listen, Nigel Farage will be the Prime Minister, right? Should they Reform win, right? It's been his childhood dream, right? But he's not going to stay there long, is he? So it's who's coming after him. It's simple as that. You know, he's ticks the box. I've made it after 20, 30 years in politics. I dragged us out of the EU, thank God, even though we didn't get Brexit done. And now he's in a position where he could potentially be the next Prime Minister.
You would think
yeah.
that the plan is Robert Jenrick, you would think.
Yeah.
But,
Well, also
Well,
Nadeem
wanna
Zahawi,
remind-
because he was the guy who was responsible for the vaccines rollout and all that crap. We wanted to inject children.
Exactly
It was
right.
sickening, absolutely sickening.
Can't have Zahawi, he's a wanker.
You can't. Zia Youssef. You got to remember, Zia Youssef left Reform in a huff because of the attempt to ban the burqa by, I forget that lady's name that got elected in Warrington. But you know, when she was talking about banning the burqa, he basically rebuked her. People pushed back against him, and he left the party in a huff. And for some reason, Nigel begged him to come back. Listen, if you're from the headshed of Reform, forget about the Muslim vote. You ain't getting it. Forget it.
You ain't.
Stop
Never in a
trying to
million
placate
years.
Muslims.
Yeah.
Appeal to people like me who are completely partyless and totally disenfranchised. And I've been in 3 political parties, one of them twice. So it's not like I'm, you know,
wet behind the ears.
And Paul hasn't. John, I'm sure you've been involved in different stuff as well. You know, we're not against politics, but what we're seeing is a complete failure of politics at every level and on every side. And that leads us to only one conclusion, that you've got to sort this out at community level. It's got to be a community-led response.
The wonderful Claire Bear. This is a very important message, this one. Please join our new channel of fun, The Rebellious Bunch. After the show, there's the address. Now, The Rebellious Bunch is a bunch of rebellious people from this channel, the viewers of this channel. Please pop over there and subscribe to The Rebellious Bunch after the show. The link or the address there is in the chat. I'll try and remember to put that one up again before we go. Charlie says, I was at the West Ham Charlton match the other day and grown men are trying to beat each other up over a game of football. Grow up and unite. I mean, that's just, you know. I mean, look, no one's more passionate about football and their club than I am, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, right, at the end of the day, I mean, I've got to the point where I just think, do you know what? Fighting and rucking over football and getting involved in nonsense over football is just so 1990 or whatever, you know. Nick Core, we would love to protest HMO owners, but the people from down south are cashing in on cheaper house prices here in the northeast and profiteering from migrant
and do you know the government contracts that John mentioned earlier with some of these HMOs? They're paying 3 times what you would pay the rent for each individual. They're paying 3 times and upfront,
and guaranteeing it for 3 to 5 years as well. Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's taxpayers' money. Yeah. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Richard, this is lovely. This is for you. Look, Richard, please can you send Mrs. Inman some flowers?
Oh. Thanks, Sheila. That's really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Do you know, Sheila, let me tell you what this cheapskate will do. He'll go out in the back garden. he'll pick up a couple of dandelions, right?
That's harsh, Richard. Don't say that, mate.
You have no idea what I have to put up with this challenge, John. You'll learn. You'll start.
I'm going to say something's going to wind Richard up now. I'm going to say it's going to wind Richard up, right? Zia Youssef is an asset to Reform. He is a very clever thinker. He's very articulate. He knows what to say. He operates fantastically in debates. Now, whether I agree with him or disagree with him, it's irrelevant. I'm just talking about him as a person out there. He is an asset to Reform. And I know the whole idea of him being a Muslim is an issue for a lot of people. So that is a big concern, of course, because the problem we have right now is the Islamification of the United Kingdom and Europe, right, or Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And we know that.
You cannot have a Muslim leading a right party.
That would be your fear, Richard. But to them and to all those who love Reform, they see him as one of their shining stars, mate. They really do. That's just simply as it is. He's out doing the rounds all the time, mate, all the time.
I've got really mixed feelings on this because there's a large chunk of me that agrees with Richard, which says that that's just going a step too far. And my gut instinct is that when it really comes to the crunch and they have to choose, then they're going to choose the religion over everything else. Having said all that, I do agree with you, Richie. I think he's probably their best performer. I think he's very polished, and actually he says all of the right things. So the query in my head is he saying that for effect, or does he believe it? Because if he believes it, he's undoubtedly their most effective.
Well, I think it's very
important. I've got this deep-seated distrust I can't get rid of.
It's very important to say this as well. To be fair, is that I agree with Richie. I think Zia Youssef is actually an asset to Reform, especially from a vote winning perspective and a Middle England winning perspective. I also agree with Richard that I wouldn't particularly want to see, or I definitely wouldn't want to see anyone other than a Christian being Prime Minister. But there's one thing here, guys, is that nobody knows if Zia Youssef is a practicing Muslim anyway. From what I understand, he isn't.
Now, he hasn't said that, Paul.
No,
he says he's a Muslim.
That's my understanding. Yeah, but is he a practicing Muslim?
Oh, come on, it's semantics. If you're not a Muslim, just say you're not a Muslim. Just say I'm not a Muslim. If I didn't believe in Christianity, I wouldn't say I was a Christian. I would go, well, I'm not a Christian. But
no, that's
so you either believe it or you don't.
But the Islamic culture and civilization, which I like to call it an ideology, is you're born a Muslim. You don't choose to become one. Of course, you get converts. So if you're in a Muslim family, you're born to that family. You've seen videos where they're doing Allah's prayers on in babies' years. That's what they did. They're out on the streets doing their prayers 5 times a day. Down here in Llanelli, last week I filmed a mosque. I did not know there was a mosque in my town. Right, it's a house on Station Road in Llanelli. And they've taken over this house. Whether they got change of use, probably have, because they have to pay council tax. And there's loads of them out there on Friday. And right next door is the kebab shop. Right next door. And then you got all the vape shops and everything else. But nobody that I spoke to in Cletley was aware that this house had been converted into a mosque. There's no billboards on there. It's kind of hidden. But you see,
how does that get planning permission as well?
No.
Who's
First
granting planning
of
permission
all,
for that?
where was the consultation with the people of the town, Cletley, first of all? Where did they get planning from, if they got planning? I have emailed the council, actually. I'm the local MP here. So I'm going to try and get some information as much as I can and be posting on my social media. Because I was shocked. Absolutely shocked, because they can turn it into a place of worship. Richard will know this with churches. You get exemptions, tax exemptions and everything else. And that's what they're doing. So if they can't find a building, a church building, for example, they'll find houses. You know, and they're taking over houses now and converting them into mosques. That's how these things start. And it's just,
I saw the video
it just
you
makes me
did
sick,
last
guys.
week, Richie. Was it about the library in Abergavenny?
Yeah,
The old library in
the
Abergavenny?
Carnegie
Is that the
Library.
same thing?
I used to live. I
couldn't
lived with my
believe
ex-wife in Abergavenny, right? And I went down there because I knew about it, because a year before I set up a petition online to get the residents, not people from around the country, people in Abergavenny, to sign the petition to say to the council, we do not want this library being converted into a mosque. It only got 550 signatures. I mean, the people don't care. But now all of a sudden, everyone's kicking off about it. So I went down there and I spoke to two people. One was a vet, actually, Richard. He didn't want to go on camera because he had his, like, the veteran association he's with on his T-shirt. And he just said to me, he said, we don't want it here. You know, the Muslim population in Abergavenny is almost zero. And it's the first one in the whole of Monmouthshire. They debated it in the Senedd, the Welsh Parliament. They kicked it back down to council level, and the councillors decide that they could convert a building that was gifted by Carnegie, who was a philanthropist, an American-Scottish guy, for children, for their education, so they could learn in the library in 1905. It's just sick, man.
So here's a conspiracy theory for you guys. This is a good one. I made a video about this the other day. So mayors, right? Andy Burnham, as soon as he got into Parliament, the first thing he talked about was devolving powers to mayors all over the country. Bev Craig, who took over from him as mayor of Manchester, was his protege, right? She got elected on something shit like 28%. She is the chairwoman, or was the chairwoman, of something called the C40 Cities. C40 Cities is a collective of cities all around the world. There's about 100 of them that are completely involved in green climate change initiatives, getting people out of their cars. But what they also want to do is challenge planning. They want to give more powers to mayor to overthrow planning concerns, overthrow their councils. And Burnham is intent on devolving powers to mayors and to super mayors all around this country. If you look at who's elected as all of the mayors in this country, if you look at Birmingham's mayor, if you look at Bradford's mayor, if you look at the mayor of Manchester, all the big cities, they're either far lefties or they're Islamic.
And they can't speak English. They can't speak English.
If you give them the power to overthrow what planning commissions do, then you've got a massive problem. And that's happening not just in this country. That's happening all around the world.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That ain't no conspiracy.
100%. C40 cities are doing it all over the world. Look at Mamdani in New York. Exactly the same thing.
That's a very good point. Hartford, since I've put my head above the parapet, I've lost so much. I'll stand and fight at all costs for our children and women. Regards, Linford. Thank you for that, mate. I agree. Peter, Richard, please would you contact Danny Tomo and discuss what he is doing? Guys, I
want to just before, because I know we're going to have to go to. I still believe the pledge is a vital ideological document that everybody should sign. I'm going to start contacting that database a lot more with different ideas, different things from the pledge that we can do, and it can become a little hub, because I believe we're going to get closed down. If we have 1 million people signed up to the pledge, it will make a difference. And for goodness sake, we're not asking for any money off people. Just sign the thing. Put it on the page there, Paul. Our boss has put it on the thing. Get it on the page so people can see it.
While you're doing that, Richard, quick question. Can't you use that platform to publish the directory of all the businesses and NGOs and everything else and all these HMOs? That would be a great platform for it, actually, so people can just go to it and go, right, as well as that declaration there, we've also got a list of all these places.
Richard, I think this idea is a great idea.
I'd probably set up a different site for that. Okay. I'd probably set up a different website for that, because I've got another site called UK Freedom Movement, which would probably be better suited for that. The pledge, I want to keep that pure, just to do with the pledge. But I could email people on the pledge mail list and give them a link to a website with that document on it. 100%. Yeah, we could do that, or even just send the document out. you know.
Right, guys, I've got a few bits to get through before we can wind up tonight. I apologise to all the regular posters this evening, but there's been a lot of supers coming across all 4 of the channels tonight. So I just want to, obviously, I've had to give them precedence. So many apologies for the regular posters tonight. Charlie says, night, lads, I'm trying not to think of the worst and enjoy my life while I can. I will stay in politics to defend my country and my people. Love to you all. God bless you, Charlie. Fletcher Liam, it's sad Zia hasn't earned your respect yet, Richard. That's from Fletcher Liam. Thank you for that, my friend. Now, before we sign off tonight, I've got a few things to go through. First of all, I want to give all the guys here the chance to share out their channels. Most of you know them anyway, but Richie, you go first. Where can people go and subscribe to you?
Yeah, if you just go to, type in Richie and Rogue Unfiltered, it'll come up on YouTube. And Rogue's just launched her own channel. She's doing interviews and stories, so I'd encourage people to go there as well. It's called Rogue Goes Rogue. You just can't tell the woman what to do. She just does what she wants to do anyway. So that's why she's gone rogue. But yeah, she did a fantastic interview with Dave Atherton. Actually, I don't know if you managed to.
Yeah, no,
catch it.
Dave.
Saw a bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was getting to know the man, and so she's a trained counsellor as well. She's got a lot of experience in those areas. So yeah, take a look at that channel as well. But Richard Rogan Film, you can find us there.
She's a trained counsellor. I might have to have a word with her. John,
we all need help.
Why do you think she's my friend? Why do you think she's my friend? Counselling constantly.
John, give your channel a shout out, my friend.
So I'm on all the various socials, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, as The Ordinary Guy Rants. The only one that's different is X, where I am my name, which is John Han, HANN04.
Thank you very much. I'm just reading some of the chat here. Richard, give yours a shout, please.
Yeah,
everyone knows you anyway, but
yeah, mine is Counter Media, and if you're not signed up to Counter Media, please go across and sign up. Obviously, it's free. You know, just subscribe to the channel. It's really important because, again, we're not getting the traction we should be.
Paul, what are you laughing for? He's trying to plug his show.
Can you not do that when I'm trying to talk? Can you just not laugh? It's very rude. Okay. Subscribe to Counter Media.
Yeah, I'm reading a comment here. I don't know if I can.
Go on,
I don't know if I can read this out.
Which one is it?
All the kids are in bed. Go for it.
Are all the kids in bed? Right,
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Well, I'm not in bed yet.
Clarity Calmness Limited, $4.99. So they're in America. My wife is 7 months pregnant. She wants a. I can't read that out.
Does she mean Richard or Richie? Which one?
Well, which one? Which one?
Yeah, which one?
That's the question. It's got to be you, Richie. It's got to be you.
I've heard of hormones
safe.
and cravings, but this is taking a mix. It's insatiable. That's going to post in the evening.
It's going to cost them more than $4.99. I can assure you of that.
Oh, you and me should be offended, mate.
Well, we don't know which dick it's. We don't know which dick it is that she wants, me or the other dick. So
There's 2 dicks on the show
brilliant.
tonight.
yeah.
Oh, some people are saying there's 4 dicks on the show, but there you go.
That's another story. Yeah.
Victoria says, do you guys think that if we stand up and it gets really tough, really rough, President Trump's administration might help? I don't think they would. No.
Not a chance.
Well, Trump's not going to be there at the next election. They've got the midterms coming up, and his polling rate is not very good at the moment.
The big fear is that America falls to the Red-Green Alliance, and then we've got a real problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a real problem.
Right, guys, before we wrap up, because we've still got nearly 2,000 people, I just want to go through a couple of things. Look, I've never asked anyone for anything on this channel, but I'm going to tonight. I want you guys to please subscribe to this channel, not only to this channel, but to the other guys and to all, even the right-wing channels that we don't necessarily get on with or agree with, right? We are under attack. Free speech is under attack. All of the right-wing YouTubers are under attack, not from YouTube, but from our own government, who are now admitting that they're coming after us. We need your help. All of us, myself, Richard, Richie, John, all the other guys, Jeff Taylor, Maya Tuzi, you name them. Whether you like them, whether you don't, doesn't really matter. We're all essentially on the same side. So what I would say to you is, please hit those subscribe buttons for all of us. Hit the notification bells and watch our videos. When you go out, just stick some videos on and let them play through. Help the algorithm, because if you don't use all of us, you're going to lose all of us. That's the situation we're in. We're in real trouble, and we need your support. And that is my closing message tonight. I'll give you guys a final chance to have your final say.
Yeah,
So, Richie,
my phone says this. Where did you get that top from? It looks like a tablecloth, Paul. I know you're in Benidorm or whatever it is, or in Spain somewhere. I don't know where you are, but come on, mate.
They
John,
actually like Spanish tiles, don't they?
Me and Richard are matching.
my
We've got
final
red one
word,
like t-shirts on.
people, I'm going to try and be positive. Do not give up hope. We can win this. We can turn it around. It looks darkest before dawn is a famous saying, and it looks fucking dark at the moment, but dawn is coming.
it does. It does look dark.
Yeah.
Richard,
Well, I'm just going to read this comment, and I don't know if it's to me, to which Rich it's to, but it's just, how's this guy's wife doing? Has she got a guide dog? So I don't know if that's to me or you, either or. it doesn't
I'll
matter.
take it. I'll take it.
You know,
oh,
and it's good
guys,
night from me. It's good night from him.
right, Richie, thank you so much. John, thank you. Richard, as always, thank you very much. Guys, don't forget to head over to the Rebellious Bunch for a bit of continuation of some laughing and joking. Hopefully that'll keep everyone going. Love to you all. We're going to play out with something a little bit more positive, one of your regular favourites. See you all soon. God bless everyone.
Cheers, guys.
To Scotland's hills, from valleys wide to Ulster's will, the drums are sounding, the call is near, for every patriot to gather here. Four nations, one kingdom, together we rise, beneath one flag under British skies. We will not bend or compromise. Four nations united before your eyes, our voices thunder, our banners fly. Four nations, one kingdom till we die. Four nations,
They tried to break what we became, to turn our love to doubt and shame. We've led as one through many wars, defending home, our sacred shores, through crown and cross, through grief and pride. All four nations side by side.
Four nations, one kingdom, together we rise, beneath one flag under British skies. We will not bend or compromise. Four nations united before your eyes, our voices thunder, our banners fly. Four nations, one kingdom till we die. England stand proud, Scotland stand tall. We'll breathe fire, Ulster give all. This is our land, our truth, our song. Together we stand, together we belong. Four nations, but kingdom forever will stand, bound by honor, heart and hand. Let them curse, let them conspire, for we are one through blood and fire. We are the lion